Yo, welcome
Hey,
again. Good to
welcome.
see you. Welcome to Tulip's booth at Hannover Messe 2025. Can't believe it's been a year already.
Oh, yes.
It seems like this year kind of went by pretty
Oh,
quickly.
yes. Oh, yes.
What are the first impressions? You know, this is Monday, stuff is starting to roll here, picking up at Hannover. What are your first impression?
Right. So I was there yesterday evening, also starting with the opening ceremony, and today had the chance to walk a little bit around. And it's very clear. One of the key themes is AI, artificial intelligence. That's very clear. And it's not anymore about the if, that's clear.
Yeah.
And then the how, it's also not about which single use cases. It's more about how can we scale and scale to impact, achieve impact and
Yeah.
with scaling up. And how do we find ways of working to make this possible? And
Yeah.
I think this point, how to scale up, this is where what I learned yesterday and also today, where a lot of people and a lot of companies out are struggling.
Yeah, for sure. And this is, again, a topic we both are very excited about, which is the production systems of the future.
Exactly.
Because what helps with scale is that if you can put it in the context of systematic work that can be adopted by people who are very, very close to the operation. So tell us a bit more about your work with operating systems.
Yes, so and you will show it in a minute how it's
Yeah.
live, but what we believe is in order to make it scale and make scale work, you need to embed AI and digital and sustainability in the production system.
Yeah.
So that it can be very systematically being applied from the worker to the management team.
No.
And if we do not have that, I think I like your word. You last time you said we should not task,
Yeah.
we should embed.
Yeah.
And this is what we totally believe. And I think you can show it, right? How
Yeah.
you do.
So, last year when we met, we have here the Tulip pop-up factory where we like to show real world examples. And this year we have this really awesome hand-on light that we're building. And you can see the factory here is running. And like the idea that, in 2025, you won't have live data coming out that can be fed to, on one hand to your automation, on the other end to your AI agent. It's just like unrealistic, right? So I think we can see where we've been doing work now with a concrete example if we walk over there. So Eddie, it's good to see you.
Hi, Johan. Good to see you again, and it's great to have you here. I want to show some of our latest AI that we're building into the platform, and I think the way we bring the AI is exactly like the rest of the platform. It's about giving tools to the operator and the process engineer to use these, not needing a data scientist to come and do the analytics. So the first one here on the left-hand side is actually being able to give a chat to the operator so that they can be supported maybe in a triage of solving a problem. So here we've got a issue where we've solved the issue and then the solution to that issue that have maybe been recorded over time by different operators across different languages. The operator now, if they have an issue now, this copilot is then trained on this data set. So I'm able to say I've got this device that I'm building and the screen is flickering. I can record this issue and get an answer back from the copilot, giving me a recommendation of how I can resolve this. So this is giving me some information. It's also showing where this problem has occurred before, so I can go and look at this as a referenceable example. So the AI here is looking at this table of data in Tulip and acting as the search agent. So it's generative AI, a search on this.
And what is the needed prerequisite which need to be in place at the company to make this possible?
You need this data set, basically.
Okay.
So this data set is like an Excel table in Tulip. So it could be a CSV upload into a Tulip table. This is a drag and drop widget in a Tulip app, like building a PowerPoint. Drag and drop this into a widget. I point this at this table and say train, and depending on how large this is, that could take a few minutes to
What's important to understand is that when you combine widgets that are no code that allow you to basically decide where you're going to deploy those co-pilots or agents within the workflow, you're basically giving a lot of power to the people who are defining your production system. Which data to introspect,
All right.
how to search it, how to categorize it. Of course, you can go the other way around, like you can have the AI create data for you. For example, We see it a lot in regulated industry that we have a demo over there where you want your audits or reports to, on one hand, quickly be generated based on knowledge, but controlled by a human.
Right.
And this sort of human-centric AI is really critical to achieve this scale that we were talking about.
Yes.
And another aspect of this that we're going to see now is what we call AI Composer. I think we can agree, even with all this technology, we are going to be writing documents for a long time.
Right.
We're likely going to use a lot of AI to do that.
Right.
But humans communicate through documents. I don't think that's going to change until we get the full neural chips in our brain. But companies in here and now have thousands of documents in their quality management systems.
Right.
And those documents have been created through immense amount of labor. They've been categorized, they've been approved, but you can't really use them to create a new production system. So this is a demo where we take standard PDFs and convert them into full-blown work instruction workflows using AI.
What I'm doing here is I've got this PDF of a work instruction, and then saying creating an app in Tulip and selecting that work instruction to create an application from. And this work instruction, this is like a classic work instruction. We've got maybe like photos, pictures. On the second page here, we've got things like checklists as well. So it's like more complex type information.
I like it because you're not only just going on the base that everything is already there, you always help to standardize what is there in a manual form, in a non-digital form, and help making it digital.
Yeah.
And here, so this is then what you're presented with next. So the AI has understood the PDF, translated the PDF into not an app yet, but into actually a kind of series of parts of an app that I can then edit. So it's the kind of co-pilot app building part.
And what's great about that is that it's actually reducing about 70 to 80% in our early test in the amount of time that someone needs to spend to actually create an application.
Right.
And a lot of time people ask us like, well, what is this AI supposed to give to people in operation? Why are we saying all the time human-centered AI? Because operation is still going to work on tack time,
right,
and ability to recover from quality errors and all those kind of things that are not going away. It doesn't matter what technology you use.
Right.
And if you're giving these, so to speak, superpowers to the people who are not software engineers, but now they're able to go from a document to a full-blown digital workflow,
right,
you are really increasing the time that they can digitize and therefore increasing the scale and impact overall.
Perfect.
So once I've edited this and made it fit my needs, I'm able to then actually turn it into what we call the application. So we'll generate the application, and you end up with a Tulip application where you can go in and just edit it, edit the text. I can change the image if it's not the right one. I can change the size of it. But also importantly, those checklists.
Right.
It's not just text, it's not paper to glass, it's really a checklist that has connected to a variable that's relevant to it. I can go in and make this check, mark it as required or not required, depending on the need. So I have the chance to turn this into a real instruction that I can use. And then you get to use the power of the rest of the Tulip AI. So we could translate it into another language if I also wanted this in, say, I don't know, Danish, for example. I can create the Danish translation of that application. Save it, let's have a look at that translation now. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's sending the whole of this text. So it's got quite a good context. And I can do this I can get all my PDFs that were in English in the local languages very quickly.
So basically, I think what we've seen is how we can bridge the gap between the desire to digitize quickly and adopt AI using production systems and a platform like Tulip to let the people do it within the reality of their organization. This is not an overnight success. It's going to take time and going to take a lot of dedication, like from companies who want to go through that type of transformation. How do you see the future? How is that going to impact organization, like from your perspective? I know Bain's done a ton of research of this and been pushing a lot of thinking and frameworks. How do you see that playing out?
Yeah. And you and I are greatly working on that together, actually, how a production system of the future should look like. So I'm very excited. And I think the basis is first, as I said before, we believe currently that only 30-40% of the companies are ready for AI and are ready to scale to full impact.
Yeah.
So therefore, if we step back, what we say, a company should have first an understanding where is the full potential in 5 to 7 years of my production. What is really the unconstrained full potential first? Then second, I need to assess where I am today. What is the maturity level? Am I ready for digital? Am I ready for AI? And there are steps to go there. You need to have standardized processes, you have synchronized processes, you have partially digitized, smart, and then maybe self-optimizing processes. Yeah. You need to know where you are. And then behind, to make it happen, we need a production system which has digital AI and these new technologies embedded. Mm-hmm. We still need lean. I think we agree to that.
Totally.
But we need to add new technology dimensions in the production system, plus the ways of working with how the technology and humans go together.
Yeah.
And I deeply believe, and that's where we're working on, we need to establish such a new production system globally for the world.
And that is exactly what we've been working on. And it's not a one company or two company type of game. No. This is an ecosystem approach.
It's an ecosystem.
And when you look around here, you see, from the hardware perspective, this Hannover, we're coming out with about 700 different drivers that allow you to push and pull information to people who are doing certain type of tasks on the shop floor, whether it's torquing or computer vision or classic control and automation. And I think it's exactly like you said, it's like it has to be in the context of production system. So the data and its ability to contextualize it at the source is critical, and the ability to give people fast and quick way to iterate. And when you do that, the power of having such approach, such an operation-driven ecosystem approach comes to play. And again, goes back to speed and scale and creates impact. Because it's been for so long that, of course, we have a lot of great manufacturing technology, but when the cost complexity of integration is so high, it's really hard to see how the production system actually mature. And it's just Monday at Hannover, and I walked around, and of course this idea of frontline AI type of solution is very, very dominant, but I think people are looking for real things, like explain to me how is this going to solve a problem for me. And I'm seeing it from so many vendors, and it's like really exciting to see. And this is just day one. So, Jörg, thank you so much for stopping by. It's been great. And I'm looking forward for the rest of the show and the year to come.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.